Have you ever heard your voice in a recording and immediately thought, wait, do I really sound like that? You hear yourself talking every single day, so you'd think you'd know exactly what your voice sounds like. But then someone plays a recording of you, and suddenly, everything feels wrong. Your voice sounds higher, maybe thinner, maybe even a little strange. And for a moment, you might wonder, is that actually me? Yes, that is actually you. But here's the weird part. The recording isn't really changing your voice. You're the one who's been hearing your voice differently this whole time. To understand why, we need to look at what happens when you speak. When you talk, the process starts in your lungs. Air is pushed upward through your windpipe and into your larynx, which is sometimes called your voice box. Inside your larynx are your vocal cords. When you speak, air causes your vocal cords to vibrate. Those vibrations create sound. Your throat, mouth, tongue, and other parts of your vocal tract then shape that sound into the words you're saying. And eventually, the sound reaches your ears. Seems simple, right? But there's something happening at the same time that you usually don't notice. Some of the vibrations created by your voice are traveling through your body. More specifically, vibrations can travel through the bones in your skull. Eventually, they reach your inner ear. So when you're speaking, your brain is getting information about your voice through two different routes. One route is through the air. The other route is through vibrations traveling through your body. And your brain combines those signals into the voice you hear. This is the voice you're familiar with. It's the voice you've heard thousands of times. But when you record yourself with a microphone, something changes. The microphone doesn't pick up the vibrations traveling through your skull. It only captures the sound traveling through the air. Then you play the recording back. Now your ears are hearing your voice through the normal air pathway. The second pathway is gone, and that's why the voice coming from your headphones or speakers can sound so different. Without those vibrations traveling through your skull, your recorded voice can sound higher or less deep than the voice you're used to hearing. That's why you might listen to a recording and immediately think, no way, that's not my voice. But there's another reason this feels so strange. Your brain has become incredibly familiar with your own voice. Think about it. You hear your voice every day, when you're talking to your friends, when you're answering questions in class, when you're laughing, even when you're just talking to yourself. Your brain has built a very strong expectation of what your voice should sound like. So when a recording gives you a version that sounds different from that expectation, your brain notices immediately. It's similar to seeing yourself in a photograph from an unusual angle. You recognize yourself. You know it's you, but something feels unfamiliar. Your voice can create the same reaction. And here's something that might surprise you. The voice you hear on a recording is generally much closer to what other people hear when you speak. Your friends aren't secretly hearing the deeper version of your voice that you hear inside your own head. They hear the sound traveling through the air. So when you ask someone, does my voice really sound like this? They might look at you like you're crazy, because to them, it sounds completely normal. They've been hearing that version of your voice all along. And there's one more reason your voice can sound different depending on the recording. The microphone matters. A cheap microphone, phone microphone, headphones, speakers, room acoustics, and even the distance between you and the microphone can change how a recording sounds. That's why the same person can sound slightly different on a phone call, a video, a voice message, or a professional microphone. But the basic mystery remains the same. Your voice isn't suddenly changing when you hear a recording. Your ears are simply receiving it differently, and your brain has to adjust to hearing a sound it isn't used to. So the next time you record yourself and immediately want to delete the entire recording, don't worry. Nothing is wrong with your voice. You haven't suddenly developed a strange new voice. You've just heard yourself from the perspective that everyone else has been hearing. And honestly, that might be the weirdest part. You've spent your entire life hearing your own voice one way, while almost everyone around you has been hearing it another way. So the next time you press play and think, why do I sound like that? Remember, that's probably what you've sounded like to everyone else the entire time. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to Story Revealed. And if you have a theory about what really happened, drop it in the comments. Bye.